Words. They don't just communicate thoughts. They reveal the hidden things in our hearts. They don't just communicate ideas. They create worlds. The mouth and the words we say are a creative force that is not only used all the time, but everywhere we go. Our words are the very essence of how the Creator made us. Join us as we discover the essence of man and the power of speech. Hey, welcome to day 84 of The Essence of Man and the Power of Speech. So glad you're with me today, and we're going to kind of piggyback a little bit off of yesterday's day 83. Lessons learned, or learning from others is today's. Have you ever exaggerated something? We all have. Have you ever used man, it was very good. And it may have been very good, but was it, very, very good? Sometimes we exaggerate our works, I did an outstanding job, maybe, or maybe we can go the other extreme and something may sound horrible, but we want to add to it to make it even more horrible than what it was. Well, there was 10 spies who exaggerated something. They didn't learn from Miriam, number one. God sent 12 spies out to go see the land which God had given them. Now, we've talked a little bit about this in other videos. He didn't give them the option to say, do you think you can take this land? Is it possible for you to? No, he said, go spy out the land which I have given you. No questions asked. In other words, he said, go look at what I gave you. It's like me giving you a car. Go look at the truck that I gave you. I'm not asking if you can drive it. I'm not asking if you want it. I'm just saying, go look at the truck that I gave you. And this truck would belong to me. This land belonged to God. So this is his land that he can give. Children of Israel sent out 12 spies. 2 said, hey, we're able to get this land. Yeah. 10 said, we're not able. Now, if God tells us we can have something, lots of times it's not going to come easily. There's going to be a situation, but God already knows those situations. Okay? So there's no shock. So he knows what he's given you, and he knows the situation that you're going to have to go through to get it. But the children of Israel, these 10 spies, said, we're not able to get it. We are like grasshoppers in the sight of the enemies. There were giants in the land. And God knew there were giants. But they start exaggerating how bad things are, instead of talking about what God said they could have. And this is the thing. Sometimes we exaggerate with words. It might be bad, but we want people just to understand how much we're suffering, so it's very bad. Matter of fact, it's very, very, very bad. We want people to understand how bad this is of what I'm going through. Well, that's evil speech. You're exaggerating. But the same can be true as on the opposite end. It can be good, but we want to make it even better to show people how worthy we are of their attention. Christians can be bad about this. We have a tendency to exaggerate what God does with us sometimes. And, that's dangerous. Media can exaggerate things. things. We found this to be true, that media can exaggerate things. What we thought was something really wasn't something. And as a result, our yay isn't yay, our nay isn't nay. So in day 84 today, what we're trying to do is learn from others not to exaggerate. Let me give you an example. There was a story of you probably heard this, the story of a lady, and she cuts this roast in half to put it in her stove. And so she has a daughter, and so she begins to teach her daughter how to make a roast, and so she cuts it in half, and so that's how the daughter learns it. Gets time, the daughter's teaching what is now the granddaughter. And they cut the roast in half every time. And so finally the granddaughter says, "Hey, Mom, why do we cut the roast in half before we put it in the stove?" She said, "Well, that's the way your grandmother taught me. My mother taught me to do it." She said, "I don't know. Let's go ask her." So one day they were at the house and they said, "Mom, why did you cut the roast in half every time?" She said, "Well, because our stove wasn't big enough. We had a small stove, so we had to cut it in half in order to make it fit." Mind you, the daughter and the granddaughter had bigger stoves. The whole roast could have fit in there, but because they cut it in half to make it fit, they missed out on the whole thing. And sometimes we end up maybe cutting things in half, quote unquote, in order to make things fit what we want, our narratives, okay? And so as a result, yays aren't yays, nays aren't nays, and everything is highly exaggerated or under exaggerated, if you will. And the bottom line is we miss out on what God is really wanting us to know and what He's really wanting us to be and do. If we over-exaggerate, it's pride. If we under-exaggerate, it's fear. Meaning, when I say under-exaggerate, if we say, "Oh, they're like grasshoppers, and we're like grasshoppers, and it's horrible, it's horrible." Well, God already knew what the situation was. So if your yay isn't yay and your nay isn't nay, then it's either pride or fear talking. And that's evil speech against you, yourself, God, and others. Let your yay be yay, your nay be nay. And we'll see you the next time on The Essence of Man and the Power of Speech. Have a good one.